What's going on, everybody? Steve from Scrow here. Wanted to start a video series here. Believe I'm going to have a video kind of introducing the idea of it pop up first before we put these out. But first one I want to start on is it's just going to be talking about collecting and kind of how things are set up, all different areas of collecting, terminology, how products are kind of structured in the different languages, all that kind of stuff. But that's going to go throughout the series, right? That it'll kind of build upon itself. And so this is for people who are new to collecting, who maybe want to learn some deeper information about Pokemon in general, and those who might be interested in just kind of understanding Pokemon as far as the TCG goes, from more of a collector standpoint, right? So like if you have a loved one or whatever, and you're just trying to understand like how things work, maybe you can surprise them with some new knowledge, that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first episode here, we're going to talk about the different sets as far as languages go, and we're going to talk about how the sets are constructed, the release timing, and the difference in kind of products that you'll see for each language. So for this video in particular, we're just going to focus on Japanese, English, and Korean. Those are typically going to be the three most prominent. The Korean one not being the lesser of the three, but still a good budget-friendly option there, especially if you collect specifically for artwork. So let's go ahead and start off. So Japan is the leader, right? Pokemon's founded in Japan. They dictate the market as far as which sets are coming out and the timing and the progression from there. So a lot of times what happens with general sets, these non-special or non-high class sets, in Japan, they usually release a couple at a time before before the English equivalent is released. So Japanese will release, let's say, one of the more recent examples is going to be Mega Symphonia and Mega Brave. Now, sometimes they'll release them at the same time, and then sometimes they'll space them out. But those sets are set up specifically for like a game mechanics of the TCG and specific theming. So Mega Symphonia, was centered around Gardevoir in certain kind of colors, more of the lighter feeling kind of aspects. And then Mega Brave was centered around Mega Lucario. And again, a lot of the coloration, like the blues, the darker reds, all that kind of stuff. More action-packed kind of set from an artwork standpoint. So those two sets, right, come out. And then sometimes Japanese will have additional things like starter decks or that sort of thing. Those will typically then get combined for an English set. The English sets are usually compilations of multiple Japanese sets, but it's not always that case. It's not always going to be set up nice and clean like that. Sometimes, for instance, Inferno X, that followed Mega Symphonia and Mega Brave, was a standalone with the conversion to English, where it was just Phantasmal Flames. Okay. So again, so the structuring, right? Japanese regular sets, usually two of them, usually then becomes one set for English. Okay. Now, the way Korean is set up is very similar to the Japanese. So Korean cards have 2 sets where it's broken up as Mega Symphonia, Mega Brave as well. So theirs follows very closely with Japanese, so it's a little easier to follow from that standpoint. And the main differentiator is going to be the language, right? It's going to have the same artworks, same chase cards typically, not really going to have any exclusives or anything of that sort. Okay, so that's kind of the set development standpoint, right? The Japanese is the leader, then you get English, and then Korean usually comes out a few weeks, maybe a month after the Japanese set's release. Okay, so there's your timing and kind of how they're developed there. The English, right? English is going to be compiled into bigger sets because they're usually a combination, right? And then they're going to have more SIRs, more art rares, and all that because it's a compilation. Okay, so moving on to as far as we talked about the timing, right? It's Japanese. Then English and kind of Korean almost are about the same time. Korean might come out a little bit before English. And then the other big part that's going to be a differentiator are the product variations. So Japanese mostly is going to be centered around smaller packs in booster boxes. So in Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, for example, those booster boxes in Japanese are going to be 5 cards a piece, and then it's going to be 30 cards per booster box. And so that works very similarly when transitioning to Korean. Sometimes Japanese, though, will have special starter deck sets. So a recent example could be Japanese had a high-class set released called Mega Dream, and then they also released these products called, I believe, Start Deck 100s. And so Mega Dream, and then a lot of these cards, or maybe all of the big chase cards from Start Deck 100, were then compiled into one set that's called Ascended Heroes in English. So that is the English like high class set. High class, right? So you get the combination there, the compilation, it becomes a bigger set and compared to the Japanese, right? Korean is primarily going to be focused on the booster box, and that's going to pretty much align more directly with Japanese. So in this case, I'm not aware of in Korean any of the Start Deck 100s, but they do have Mega Dream. So it aligns from that standpoint. Where this then continues to differentiate is going to be the products that are different between Japanese and English, or Japanese and Korean and English, right? So mostly focus on the booster boxes with Japanese and Korean, with the exception of some start decks, that kind of thing. Maybe some particular promo type products, okay, for Japanese. Korean doesn't really participate as much with that. English, for the most part, in regular sets that are typically compiled of the 2 sets from Japanese, are going to be focused around booster boxes, where there's 36 packs, and you actually get 10 playable cards in each pack. So that's 360 cards in a booster box of English, as compared to 150 cards in Japanese. English also puts a big focus on things like elite trainer boxes, or commonly referred to as ETBs, booster bundles, where it's typically 6 booster packs, so just a smaller version of like a booster box. All right, 6 booster packs there. And then there's going to be a lot of ancillary products. They might be poster collections. They might be particular starter deck type ones where they will release like an exclusive artwork. So most recently, you might have seen that from I think it's like Haunter Gengar and I believe Mega Diancie set, where they release these specific products where they come with art rares promos that can only be found in those products. Nothing else. It's not in the regular set. You can also find in other products, there'll be like a portfolio type thing where you get like a pack of a booster and then a little portfolio to be able to store cards. Those types of products, or we may have seen like Pokeballs. Sometimes those are more of like a mashup of different English sets too. So it gets very extensive and can be kind of complicated there. But when we're talking about a specific set, it's usually going to be for English booster box, booster bundles, ETBs. On occasion, you'll get a UPC, which is an ultra premium collection. Those are typically highly coveted from a collector standpoint. They usually have really cool promos included. The most recent one, the Charizard one, that coincided with the Phantasmal Flames release, had the kind of the Mega Attack version of Charizard as a promo, as well as the Oricorio that was a SAR in the Inferno X set. This time it's just a promo for the UPCs there. So a lot of differences when it comes to that. The English product is probably the most variable in terms of all these different types of product types. They have a lot of promos. A lot of cards will be pulled out of the set specifically to be promos in English, as opposed to being able to pull them in the set, because it's typically a compilation where the set itself is pretty large, right? So Pokemon kind of throws us a bone there, right, from a collector standpoint of, okay, we're going to give you some of these cards up front as promos in these products, right? So that creates demand for a bunch of different products across the line. So usually your best bang for your buck is going to be the booster boxes if they're available. So let's talk about high class sets for a second here. High class set, again, follows the same timeline as far as Japanese. It comes out, and then a compilation / variation comes out in English, probably with Korean maybe just about the same time or a little bit before English. But the Korean and Japanese versions are going to pretty much be directly aligned, okay, as far as what's in the set and what it looks like. The most recent case, high class set in Japanese, is Mega Dream. And by high class, it means it's a little different variation. They do typically like 10 packs in a booster box for the Japanese, and it's 10 cards per pack. Each pack, in this case, is guaranteed a hit, with it being a minimum of a holographic type EX card. In the high class sets, you are typically guaranteed a box hit of some kind. In the past, it could be a secret rare. It could be a variation of that. So like Shiny Treasure, I think, was a secret shiny rare. Mega Dream is a Mega Attack rare, so they changed it a little bit, but it's similar. Some sets will guarantee an SAR. V-Star Universe did that, which is very closely aligned with Crown Zenith in English. And then Terrestrial Festival in Japanese guaranteed an SAR, and that was one you're chasing all the evolutions, right? And then that one aligned with Prismatic Evolutions. Still a very popular English set. Market value per pack is continuing to rise on that. Big chase, low pull rates, that's another topic for a different day. But that high class set means in a box you're guaranteed a bigger hit, right? Japanese, typically in a 30-pack box, you're guaranteed a secret rare. possibility of hitting an SAR. You could hit both, or you could hit a gold. And the golds have become more prominent and more collectible in the recent sets here. So high class set, guaranteed hit every pack, guaranteed bigger hit per booster box in Japanese and Korean. The similarities kind of end there for English conversion, because there's not as many, there's no guarantees. English never has any guarantees in terms of pull rates, like secret rares, SARs, any of that, other than the promos. Like the only things you're going to guaranteed are promos in English, and that's all they're giving us, right? So typically the high class sets generate a lot of interest, and so like I said, Prismatic is still highly sought after, and the value of those packs keep going up, right? Mega Dream currently, the English version just recently came out at the end of January, and it's called Ascended Heroes. And the value, or current value, market value of cards, individuals, for the big hits are just like astronomical, right? Typically that goes down as product gets released. For English, the product is going to be continuously released. They've got just the text sticker blister packs right now out. I know, I think there's going to be some type of like poster collection or something type of product released in February here. And then they're just going to keep introducing new products. The ETBs should be shortly, about this time, maybe by the end of February. And then I think it technically rounds out based on their constructed rollout of it, with the booster bundles not coming out until April. I'm sure there's possibility of more products down the line, but that's essentially what we know right now. So again, English, no guaranteed pulls, high demand because it's kind of geared up from the Japanese high class set. Now with English, in terms of a high class set conversion from Japanese, there typically are not booster boxes. So it makes it a lot harder to get your hands on a decent amount of packs at one time. So those booster bundles are going to be the most efficient way between that and ETBs. Now ETBs, because of their collectability, are also going to be really sought after, and those typically will sell for higher on a market because they're collectible. A lot of people keep those sealed in a seal collection. To an extent, booster bundles are as well, but ETBs usually include a promo card, so then that makes it even more collectible. Plus, it's in a nice, decent size. It's usually got a good aesthetic that you can then like put up on a shelf and that sort of thing. The Pokemon Center versions of them are the highest form of collectible versions. And then from there, I'd say probably booster boxes, right? Sealed booster boxes. Booster bundles just don't necessarily look as cool on the shelf and that sort of thing. The ETBs kind of just catch your eye, and a lot of people can identify with it. Kind of becomes, especially with the Pokemon Center ones, if you have those, it becomes kind of a status symbol. So appreciate you guys checking out the video. I think that does it. If you have any more questions on the differentials there, go ahead, throw them in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed here. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. We did not touch on things like the Chinese sets. Chinese sets are really kind of complex, and they typically, in more recent years, are compilations of several sets of Japanese. So it's hard to align them. They kind of come out at different times. They have some exclusive artworks that make them very collectible, and you know, people like to chase and open up a lot to try to get those exclusives. So that kind of adds to the collectability of those sets. But it's too kind of sporadic how they're set up. It's not very closely aligned with the others. So yeah, appreciate you guys checking this video out. If you made it all the way here, appreciate you listening to me yap for a while. And again, make sure you're following us on Instagram, TikTok for our lives and other content, and here on YouTube. Make sure you check out the shop, scrowrips.com. You can place sealed orders, or if you want to wait and have your stuff open on live, make sure you check us out on TikTok and we'll rip it live for you. So can't wait to see you guys in the chat or back here next time. See you.